I want you to imagine we're going to do an experiment. A young person will spend their entire childhood in a room interacting only with wooden-faced avatars in violent video games. No boundaries. From morning to night, they will play video games. Now, raise your hand who in this room who knows about social isolation, loneliness, would allow a young person in their life to be part of this experiment. Someone raised their hand, but I think they just walked in. So last year, I got to see what might be the outcome of such an experiment when I turned on Netflix to watch a documentary called I Just Killed My Dad. In it, 19-year-old Anthony Tomplay rings 911 responders and says in complete deadpan, I just killed my dad. In fact, he has such a flat affect, it convinces prosecutors that he's a sociopath, when in reality, the reverse is true. His father, Bert Tomplay, was neglectful and abusive and kidnapped Anthony when he's young from his mother. And then because he's abducted, he can't be registered in school. Instead, for his whole childhood, he's left in a room to play video games. He never learns his own address. He doesn't know his own age. He never even goes to the doctor. But most horrifying for all of us in this space of work is that Anthony has no friends. And it seems far-fetched, doesn't it, the thought of this happening to someone, but is it as far-fetched as we think that a child would lose their emotiveness, their entire ability to connect with other people face-to-face because of technology? We're going to return to Anthony's story, but recently in Singapore, a friend visited me. She's an old millennial like myself, one of the most emotionally sensitive, high EQ people you could ever meet. She also has a very large online following to which she replies to all the comments. And she said, Simone, I still remember the first day that I responded with an emoji to someone's comment and didn't reflect that emotion on my face. A complete disconnect of the self. 92% of us use emojis. And we know on some level we have all been incepted by these devices. So where do we go from here? I'm going to share 3 prompts with you in a second, but I just want to contextualize that I live on the other side of the world, and I've also lived in Australia, Switzerland, the UAE, and of course now Singapore, and we've had a lot of US-centric discussions yesterday, but what I can tell you and affirm for you, as many of you have heard the US Surgeon General say, that loneliness, this thing, it's a global issue. And my job is essentially to take all the genius of people like Robert Putnam and Robert Waldinger and Julianne Holt-Lunstad and distill it to be ingestible for the everyday person. And that distillation process for me, I take that really, really seriously because guess what? We're in a race. With AI, this technology thing, it's exponential. The faster we get people to understand, the better. So here are my 3 prompts for how I think on an individual level, we can help solve a little bit of this very large and overwhelming problem. Number 1, we need to model, as we already heard this morning, we need to model the importance of face-to-face interaction for the young people in our lives. So the beautiful thing about watching the rest of this Netflix documentary, Anthony Tomplay found innocent, released, and as he's released, he begins to socialize in the world for the very first time. And you know, in Netflix documentaries, they have those interviews and they show as the sun kind of starts to kiss his face and his hair grows longer, he begins to emote. He's still more wooden than the rest of us. But I sat there thinking, how incredible is that biological wiring in us down to the cellular level to want to connect face-to-face in person? That's a gift. So let's put our young people in places like we just saw on the panel where they can interact face-to-face. We model that behavior by putting our phones away and reminding them of that wiring that's in us. Number two, we all have to have boundaries for our technology. Now, I do simple things. I'm very active on social media, but I'm a post and ghoster. That means I post, I interact with the comments of my own post, and then I don't scroll because I want that time to connect with my mother who's in a nursing home and my friends that are in person in front of me. I don't put WhatsApp Messenger on my desktop, and I also don't sleep with my phone in my room. These are very simple things that reduce my overstimulation to the technology so that I sleep better and then I'm nicer to every human connection throughout the day. And now I know you're like, Simone, I have been sleeping with my phone outside of my room for years. You're not telling me anything new, but when I still get up to go to the toilet, I still go and check the notifications in the middle of the night. Anyone here relate? Thank you for being honest. Vulnerability builds connection. And so that brings me to my third prompt, is that we can't enforce boundaries if we don't have an awareness of how the tech is making us feel. So self-connection, I define as the awareness of one's own experience in any given moment. And we can't connect well with other people until we connect well with ourselves. So I'm going to leave us with an exercise that is going to set you all very up for Dr. Jean Twenge's session next. And it's been around for eons in Eastern religion, and it's simply breathing. We're going to breathe in through the nose for 4 seconds. We're going to hold it in our mouth for 4 seconds and exhale for 8. Ready to do it together? You can close your eyes if you wish. Going to breathe in for 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold it in the mouth. 2, 3, 4, and exhale out the mouth. 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, if you repeat this for around 2 minutes, it helps to release happy hormones into the body, one of which is oxytocin, that wonderful chemical that helps to forge trust in relationships. And you can do this to cut the tech overwhelm any time of the day when your notifications are going off, or people are calling you, or you're getting angry emails from colleagues. And it cuts that circuit to allow you to make better decisions on how you're going to spend the rest of the day. And hopefully those decisions will be a lot more connecting like this, and a lot less connecting like this. Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to introduce the amazing Dr. Jean Twenge to talk to you further on the iGen.